brought her back, but we brought her up to level 80, so she's ready to go to fight people that are, that are max level right now in the game that want to go back. And for us, this was a chance. We didn't want to bring this back necessarily as, as something that we thought, you're going to go in here and do this as a part of progression. This is something that we really thought that she was key figure in Craft lore. For a lot of people, this is the first raid boss they ever fought against. And what better thing to do than bring back a fight like this and bring it back up to current times. So there's a few new mechanics here. I mean, it's still going to feel like the Onyxia fight. We didn't go in and change things massively, but there's definitely new mechanics. She's got maybe a couple new spells, it's definitely going to feel like the Onyxia fight that you're used to.
There's still many whelps.
Yeah, you're definitely going to need more dots for sure. Now, the most important part about this for you guys is the new and updated loot. So she's got an entirely new loot table, but all based on her original stuff. So you're going to be able to get all the two helms. They're all going to be here with their original art, but all the stats have been updated to support the current level of itemization that we have in the game. We've also, not only are the two helms updated, but also the weapons, necklaces, things like this skag. You're still going to be able to get Coal Spar here, and there's a new version. And of course, don't want to forget, we've added just a little bit more deep breath randomization. Try not to stand so close together, maybe, I don't know. So here's a great shot. This is one of the coolest things you're going to get from Onyxia. This is a flying mount. And so this is an epic flying mount, and it's going to be a very rare drop. You definitely have a chance to get it, but it's pretty rare. And kind of the concept here is this is not necessarily modeled after her, but this is one of her broods, kind of in that middle phase. And you'll be able to ride her as an epic flying mount throughout anywhere in Azeroth, especially with Cataclysm coming. You could see this guy flying over the Barrens, who knows. So here's a couple shots of some of the loot. This is original loot. Helm of Wrath and the Judgment Crown off original Onyxia. You can see it's got still the full 8-piece sets on it. You can see the stats. It's a sweet 40 stamina here in this Helm of Wrath. And then this is a look at the new loot. So now we're up to 182 stamina. Helm of Wrath here, and then the Judgment Crown. You can see they've been updated to support all the current stats. They've got slots for gems. Everything's ready to go. And in some cases, we've also took the loot and made new loot to support, now that we have specs, we've got to support all the specs. So here's the Judgment Crown, broken up into 3 different versions to support all 3 different specs. And we've done this for all the loot, so everyone can have something that fits their spec. So now here's a shot of a couple weapons that are going to be dropping off in Onyxia. Now these are the original. The Obsidian Edge Blade dropped in Molten Core, but we've taken some of that loot and put it on Onyxia here to fill out her tables. Because originally she only had 2 weapons that she dropped, so we wanted to update that. So we took some Molten Core loot and put it here. So here's an example. Here's Quell Sarar, Deathbringer, and the Obsidian Edge Blade. And then here's their versions that'll be dropping on the new Onyxia. So you can see they've been massively upgraded. There's nothing like getting a new weapon. It really helps stat increase. So we really wanted to make sure that we wanted to get people here, get them a chance to experience this encounter. So we wanted loot to make sure that people would come. And I think this is definitely going to do it. So also, we've got Onyxia Whelpling. I don't think anyone's actually seen this yet. We might have actually beat them to the punch on this one. It's good. So this is the Onyxia Whelp. So anyone who logs into the game we're gonna have a 2 or 3 long week phase where anyone that logs into the game will get a mail, and you'll get the Onyxia Whelp for logging in during the 5-year anniversary of WoW. Now you can't see it here, but this Whelpling actually has some really cool, unique animations. She actually tries to deep breath occasionally, every few minutes. And she fails occasionally and just ends up blowing smoke rings. But it looks really awesome. We've got custom art on it that looks great. So to close this out, the last thing we wanted to talk about is a new feature that we're planning that we haven't really talked about a lot yet, which is going to be cross-server LFG. And as you can imagine, what this is going to do is allow you to get into 5-player instances with players that are on other realms. Now the tech for this definitely supports raids, so we can definitely do it. We're going to kick it off with 5-player, see how it goes, and we're definitely going to open it up from there. It's going to start out working on your battle groups, and the same way that you can expect it's something very similar to the way Battlegrounds work now. With crossover Battlegrounds, it's looking to do something like that, very similar. This is definitely something that is going to help pugs a ton. If you can imagine, you think a group for Wailing Caverns right now, it's going to be a lot easier after this. When you've got 20 or 30 servers of people that might do that quest, now you can and be able to do that without necessarily having such hard people. Big part of it is also your reward system. So definitely want to reward using this system to encourage them to take a part of it. And the concept here is the same way in the LFG now, you can flag yourself as a leader. You can flag yourself as what your actual playstyle is. If you flag yourself as a leader and take a group through a dungeon in LFG, we actually want to reward you for that. So maybe there's some people that have never been in Wailing Caverns, but you're a pro at it. So you go into LFG and flag yourself as a leader. If you successfully complete the dungeon, you'll end up getting a reward for that. This is something we currently have on tap for patch 3.3.0. That's tentative. It's what we're shooting for. We think this is definitely something that we can get out before Cataclysm, though, for sure. And that's what we have for Dungeons and Raids. So I think we've got about 15, 20 minutes for Q&A.